I bet you don't start. I'll put you out the window. I can't believe it started. Alrighty, folks. This here will be the last video of Lick Creek Farm ever. This will be all she wrote for it. I'm just going to sum everything up, kind of recap on everything, in case there's some people that hasn't went back and watched some previous videos, or just hasn't really followed along with it, but are kind of watching now. So, as most of you know, I'm off of Lick Creek. I've been off air now probably, well, today's Saturday, so 3 weeks. Does that sound right? 3 weeks? 2 or 3 weeks, whatever it is. I'm not going to stop and try to figure it out and think. But anyways, I'm off air. Everything's off. Everything's done and over with. I'm away from the place. I'm never going back. I will never as much as put my little toe on that property ever again. I'll never go back. So anyways, a few weeks ago, 3 or 4 weeks ago, a month ago, whatever it is now, he contacted me wanting money. And he was wanting $1,500. And this is, Willis Bishop was wanting the $1,500 because a couple months ago, or whatever, whenever it was, I'm not going to try to stay in the timeline, but anyways, he was wanting $50 a day because I asked him to extend my lease if he would. So he said, sure, I'll do it. He said, you can stay as long as you want, as long as you pay me $50 a day. I said, no way, Jose. He said, well, that's what it is for you to stay. And I told him, I said, I'm not paying $50. I can't pay $50 a day because that turns into $1,500 a month. And I was paying $250 a month. So I told him I would figure out what I can afford. And he said, well, you just call me back in a few days. Well, a few days went by and a week went by, and I just, you know, I know he wasn't going to agree to anything that I said other than $50. So about a week or so went by, and he called me and said, hey, what's the deal? When are you going to pay me? I said, I'm not paying you. I said, I've decided the most I can pay you per day is $12. And, you know, obviously he said no, and he went on his little tangent on, you know, I feel that, you know, I think, you know, regarding me is everybody owes me something. I'm somebody that don't pay my bills. Everybody has problems. But, you know, you take yours to the extreme and expect everybody to pay your way for you. You know, he was trying to get me to retaliate with him, but I wasn't going to his level. I'm somebody that likes to kill it with kindness. So, a few weeks or so passed, and he called me up. He says, Friday, I want my money. I said, no way. I said, I already told you, I'm not paying you $50 a day. And, you know, he ran it around, you know, trying to insult me, you know, yada, yada, yada. And he says, I want $1,500 Friday. He said, or I'm going to do something you're not going to like. I said, well, I'll tell you this much. I will bring you something. I didn't say money, I said something. Because I was going to go to the lawyer and have a restraining order and personal lawsuit and whatever I could conjure up, you know, to have him served with. Well, that Friday rolls around, and, well, let's back up a couple of days from that Friday. Tuesday or Wednesday. I think it was Tuesday, and they showed up Wednesday. That Tuesday, a certain somebody told me that he called Humane Society, and we're such a large case call in that they had to go investigate. So they showed up at my house a day or two later, maybe Wednesday. It might have been Thursday at the latest. But anyways, I think it was Thursday. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Thursday. Anyways, Humane Society showed up because it's such a large case. They went and looked at my cows, and, you know, and they, you know, it's like, you know, we're not worried about it. We know who you are, you know, because there's been a few people that had told him, says, I'll vouch for him that he's not starving his cows. So, but they had to come anyways. And he was wanting to follow up on Bishop was wanting to follow up on the claim for them to go look at my cows and yada yada. And he was stating I had dead cows all over creation. I wasn't feeding them or anything like that, and yada yada. So he called me Friday, like, hey, where's my money? I told him I wasn't paying him. I've never agreed to $1,500, nor will I ever agree to $1,500. He said, well, I'm gonna go do that. I'm gonna go do something that you're not gonna like. So evidently, the hearsay on it was he was going to go get a personal lawsuit and a court order. I forget what they're going. Basically, it was going to tie up everything I had on Lick Creek until I paid him. But that Friday, I done had everything moved. It was, bye bye, see you later. So I got everything pulled out of there, and so I kind of kept hush hush on making a video because I didn't know if I would ever be served with a court order. But I can say now, he was just BSing, and I called his bluff. And, I haven't heard nothing from him. And because that Friday, that conversation, I just told him he could go do whatever he wants to do, and I'll go do what I need to do, and I've already done it. And he hung up. And I might have said this before, so I may be repeating myself, and if I am, I apologize. But see, the original agreement with the owner was that I could stay until April 1st. And I had told Bishop that, and he went on some kind of rant of, no, you've never talked to him. All you're doing is whining to him. He's a sick man. You don't need to be calling him. Acting like it wasn't any of my business. And when really, it's none of Bishop's business of what I'm doing. Because he doesn't own the property. It's my stuff. It's Wick Camper's property, land. Bishop, he has no business in my business. So, but upon talking to Wick Camper, to sum the long, well, it wasn't a long conversation, it was probably a 10-minute conversation. To sum everything up, he basically said he just told Bishop to take care of it, get it under control, and basically reneged, redacted, welched, whatever you want to call it, on the original agreement on his word. So, it's he lives a couple counties away, and it doesn't mean piddly poot to him. So he could care less what happens to me. So, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind, out of his hair. So he didn't care what happens to me or what I have to do or where I had to go or anything like that. And I also heard, I won't say it was firsthand, but it was pretty close to the firsthand that the type of person Bishop is kind of the type of person that Wick Camper is, which is the old saying, birds of a feather flock together. There's a couple of people that said that Wick Camper is one of the biggest crooks in that area. So it just is what it is on that. But I'm away from there, and I'm glad of it. I think I stated earlier in the previous video, I didn't realize how much strain, stress, anxiety that place had put on me until I was away from it and I could actually breathe a little bit. Because I went down there after it was all said and done, and it gave me anxiety. I mean, it just almost like a panic attack, if you want to call it that. But it's all panned out for the best. I got everything moved. All the cows are gone, and I'm not sure, but I think I might have misconstrued or, on moving my cows. They are on a different property. It is on property that I lease and the family property. But it is... I'm going to have to sell a bunch of cows here in the next 4 to 6 weeks, to say. because by 1st of April, all the cows have to be gone. Excuse me. Because the property that I have that I can put cows on will only keep about 10. So that means I got about 32, 33, no, see. I sold 3 cows the other day to a neighbor, so I got 30 cows and 2 bulls. Well, I can keep 1 bull if I decide to keep the Hackett Ridge place. But I may just sell everything out there and just kind of start over and just take the money that I get out of the cows and just put in a safe deposit box and just kind of wait until I find me a place that I want to be on. So that's probably the route I'm going to go, and I really don't know. I just, my mind here lately has been running so many different ways. I've thought about going buying another baler, a newer one, a 4x5 baler with net wrap, and just making hay and selling it. And then part of me says, you know, just to sell all the cows and take the Hackett Ridge place and where I live, and, you know, go buy me about 30 feeder calves and just feed them through the summer and let them graze and put some pounds on, you know, to put a little extra money back in the safe deposit box, you know, kind of to help compensate on, you know, the cows that I've got shot and that one that got down on the ridge. I don't know what happened to her, but anyways, it's just, I don't know. And then I got the truck thing. You know, part of me says to go ahead and put a new motor in it, do it myself. And part of me says just go ahead and put the main bearing in it, put a set of new injectors in it, and may sound bad, but just sell it to a dealership and go buy me like a, I found a, excuse me, an International 95 or maybe 94 International. It's got the DT 466, 12-foot flatbed, got the gooseneck in it, 5-speed, 2-speed rear end, you know, air brakes, yada yada. And the money that I would be putting in my 450 would buy, now the money I put in my 450 by putting a new engine in will buy that International. It's in Missouri, so you know, it'll be a 782 mile trip out there and drive it back. But by doing that, basically to shorten it up is once I buy that truck, I hit the key and I go to work. It's not like, you know, buying the $6,000 engine, pulling the old one out, swapping the parts that I'd have to swap out. I think like the fecum has to be changed out. I don't think the new engine would have the fecum. You know, like the alternator. There's a few other things on there. What else was it? Maybe, I don't know. I'd have to recheck that, because I talked to the guy that sells them, and he told me the stuff that I had to, you know, swap out. You know, it's none of the oil components or anything like that, but there was a few things that had to be swapped out. For the life of me, I can't remember. You know, obviously, like the Peapot, the little reservoir that sits up here, you know, and the battery boxes and the air intake and stuff like that. Anyways, so, you know, by buying the International, that would put me right to work instead of having to wait, you know, 3-4 days to pull the engine out, just say a day to swap the parts out, and then 2-3 days to set the engine back in, put the cab back on, hook everything up, you know. So basically you'd be 2 to 3 weeks on swapping out, doing it myself, because I don't have the mechanic tools. And what I mean mechanic is like a mechanic shop that has all the impacts, the lifts, you know, all the, call it the bells and whistles, so to speak. Okay, I'm getting water, so I thought I heard it overrunning, but we're not. So anyways, I have not found a farm, to get back on the farm part. I have not found a farm. There's only one farm that is available, and it's about a 2-hour trip from my house. It's a very large farm. It keeps like 200 mommy cows, but the lease on it's like $22,000 to $26,000. I don't know exactly, but the guy that's had it's retiring, and it's still up for lease. So, but I don't have that many cows, nor do I have that much money to go buy cows and also to pay the lease. So it'll be put me in, basically, I'd have to go spend $200,000 to get this farm, because to fill the rest of it out, you know, because I'd have to go buy another 150 more cows, which, you know, basically just call it what it is. Time I get them trucked in there, I'd be $1,000 a head. So that's $150,000, and then you throw in a 25, you know, that's $175,000. A few other things that, you know, I probably have to buy that I'm not thinking right off the top of my head. You know, just to say $200,000. Now, if a bank would go do that, I'd shoot right down there and I'd lease it up. Because what I would do is I'd go buy a camper. I'd go buy like a 30-foot new camper, because there's all kinds of deals on campers. I mean, they'll do like 180 months on a camper. I know I'm getting off topic here, but I looked at one last fall, and like a 32-foot pull camper was going to be like $208 a month for a brand new, excuse me, for a brand new one. So I would just go buy a camper and pull it down and set it up and kind of make a little mini vacation for my wife and kids away from home. And, you know, we just kind of spend the summer hanging out in the camper. And I don't know what I do for the winter time. But then on that farm, I thought about buying a bunch of feeder calves, going to them BQA sales, and buying 400 or 500 of them and putting them down there. And when wintertime hits, empty the farm out, come home, prop my feet up by the fire, and 1st of March, go back in, buy a few hundred of them, and, you know. So, but Lick Creek's done. Never going back. Never, ever, ever, ever going back. I don't care what anybody says. So, I guess, did I cover everything that I should have? Maybe, yes. And the silage, it's all gone. I had it fed out before the doo-doo hit the fan there a couple weeks ago, because I just had a feeling that something bad was going to happen, because everything was quiet up to, you know, the first week of January, and then everything just kind of went kabloom. But I had it all fed out by then, because, you know, I was feeding silage in a couple. Alrighty. Uh-oh. Okay, sorry about that. Got a phone call here. I got to go pick up a truck here. Let's try this one more time. I just got a phone call asking if I had a cow out. And, you know, I guess it's easy to mix up red, orange, and white. You know, I was like, I got white tags. Well, it's either red or orange. It might be white. No. And I don't have a 55 number tag, ear tag. So, anyways, let's try this again. I don't have any grass for all my cows. And that's good. That looks good there. So I may be selling out. And I think if I have to sell 35 cows, I'm just gonna sell them all and circle the wagon and basically just start over. So any questions that y'all may have, throw them down in the comment section below. Anything else you want to ask or know about, just let me know. You can follow me on Instagram at Small Town Farmer, and I would say Facebook, but Facebook has still got me locked out, so I may have to open up a new account. So anyways, thanks for watching. Yeah, I think I've summed up everything that I should. Kind of got spaced out here, and you know, the videos were spaced out because phone calls. But anyways, thanks for watching. Until next time, and as always, later.